Today I'll discuss the role of the Bureau of Industry and Security regarding export license requirements for China. Under the Export Administration Regulations, known as the EAR, a Bureau of Industry and Security license is required for the export or re-export of most items on the Commerce Control List to China. Items on the CCL are identified by their individually assigned export control classification numbers according to their reasons for control, such as crime control and detection, known as crime control. The Commerce Control List is also comprised of items controlled by the multilateral export control regime, such as the Wassenaar Arrangement, the Missile Technology Control Regime, the Australia Group, and the Nuclear Suppliers Group, as well as items controlled unilaterally for foreign policy reasons. And here I would draw the distinction with the crime controls. They are, in fact, unilateral, unlike controls over nuclear items and other items that would be of concern for security reasons to our international partners and therefore controlled on one of the regimes. In support of U.S. foreign policy, specifically to promote the observance of human rights throughout the world, the United States controls items on the Commerce Control List as required by Section 6X of the Export Administration Act as amended. As set forth in the Export Administration Regulations, the U.S. government requires a license to export most crime control and detection instruments, equipment, related technology, and software to all destinations other than our closest allies, such as NATO members, Australia, Japan, etc. Additionally, a license is required to export certain crime control items, including restraint-type devices, such as handcuffs, and discharge-type arms, such as stun guns, to all destinations, with the single exception of Canada. The Export Administration Regulations impose limited controls on some items not on the Commerce Control List. Items subject to commerce licensing jurisdiction under our regulations but not specifically identified on the control list are designated as EAR 99. Such items generally do not require a license for export or re-export to China unless destined to weapons of mass destruction related to end uses or end users, or unless the items are part of a transaction involving a restricted party identified on one of several lists or maintained by agencies of the U.S. government, including the Bureau of Industry and Security's entity list, the Department of State's restricted list, and the Department of the Treasury's specially designated nationals list. Items controlled for crime control reasons are added to or removed from the CCL based on continuous review of the merits of maintaining the controls and the effectiveness of the controls. Section 6 of the EAA prohibits the imposition of foreign policy controls, including crime control items, unless certain determinations are made and certain factors reported to Congress, such as the determination that controls are likely to achieve the intended foreign policy objective, a description of consultative efforts with industry and other supplier countries, and determinations related to the economic impact on U.S. business and industry. There's a specific crime control licensing review policy related to China. The U.S. government considers applications to export or re-export most crime control items favorably on a case-by-case basis unless there's civil disorder in a country or the sale involves a region of concern or there's evidence that the government may have violated human rights. The purpose of these controls is to deter the development of a consistent pattern of human rights abuses, distance the United States from such abuses, and avoid contributing to disorder in a country or region. We maintain a general policy denial for certain items, applications to export crime control items that are not subject to sanctions or comprehensive embargoes, but are identified by the Department of State as two human rights violators, receive additional scrutiny and are generally denied. There are specific controls related to legislation, popularly referred to as the Tiananmen Square sanctions. And I'd like to conclude by just noting we do not receive very many applications for exports to China. We did receive 25 last calendar year. 21 were for the return of defective items manufactured in China. They were returned to the original Chinese manufacturers. There were 9 denials including applications for stun guns, optical sighting devices, pepper spray, et cetera, and also voice print software, which I know was of interest. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on my testimony or anything relevant to the Export Administration regulations and the controls we maintain specific to China and crime control items. Thank you.